Alright, so one of the things Eric Larson does in this book is he brings up the January 6th riot. Does that and the Fort Sumter attack, are they comparable? Let's discuss it. So, hello and welcome to my review of Demon of Unrest by Eric Larson. Here's the cover right here. And yeah, this was an interesting book. And let's go over a quick summary of the book, what it's about, my take on it, my negative views and my positive views, and let's go ahead and get started into this review. So, this book covers the rebel or Confederate states, in this case, South Carolina. Its attack on the Fort Sumter being a island fort in the Bay of Charlotte, and this was a definitely interesting book. It starts off with the lead up to the attack. The thing is, real quick, if you don't know Eric Larson's books, he does write them a lot like narratives, and in this case, it's no different. Kind of like a movie starts off with the action, the lead up to the action in this case, the lead up to the attack on Fort Sumter. Then he goes into the past, and he goes very far into the past actually. He goes like, I want to say 10 years back, and he talks about the thought of secession and abolitionists and slavery, and the reasons why, the reasons behind the Civil War that would be coming along right after the Fort Sumter attack, raid, if you want to call it that too. It was an interesting book. It included multiple politicians on both sides. It included the officer of Fort Sumter being Anderson. I think he was a major. He got promoted to a general after the attack. But follows Lincoln and his attempts to resupply the fort, along with his misunderstanding of where the South is coming from. Or not where it's coming from, but where the mentality is in the South. He was under the impression, probably good reason of it due to his cabinet trying to convince him, yeah, they're not all separatists down there. A lot of them are unionists. They won't stand for it. And then, of course, history unfolds itself. So, this is a pretty good book to read, I would say. And let's go ahead and say what I liked about it. So, what I did like about this book is the detail. I know a lot of people, I've seen a few reviews, he goes a little bit overboard with the detail in this book. You could say that. He definitely does follow a lot of different people, and he definitely gets a view from every person, so to speak, every view possible. He gets a military view inside Sumter. He gets a military view of the raiders, including the leader, Beauregard. He gets the political views of both senators and presidents, including Jefferson Davis and Abraham Lincoln. He gets a view of this one woman named Chestnut, her diary of the attack, lead up to the attack, and just her view on the secession, being a Southern woman herself. It opened my eyes to a lot of things. I'm not a Civil War buff by any chance of the word. I do want to learn more about it, but to say like, let me see here. Will tell me here. It's not telling me here. if I preview book? Is that it? Or is this? Oh no, this is a preview. Whoops. What was it saying? 61 highlights, and I don't think that's. I think that might be including one of my bookmarks or two. But besides that, 61 is a lot for me. Quite a lot for a book. So I definitely took a lot from this book, and you would probably too. I didn't know that much about the Fort Sumter attack. I knew it happened. I knew it was the catalyst of all this build-up, and in a way, this is the Pearl Harbor of the Civil War, the 9/11 of the Civil War, if you will. The start of the carnage that will come. So, my issues with this book. Let's go ahead and talk about those. So, the issues with this book is I feel like it could have probably been finished, I don't know, 100 pages before it was finished. In a sense, the ebook anyways, finishes on page 491. Whereas I feel like if the author really wanted to, he could have cut out some of the characters, and the book would have ended in, I don't know, 300 something. That's really hearsay. Do you want your books to be long or not? I'm fine if it's long, but when it gets to an extent. Also, sometimes it does get a little drawn out, a little. Oh God, when are we gonna go back? When are we going back to the other characters? Like, I didn't care for the chestnut woman. She is the symbolism of chivalry. That's what Larson calls it. The kind of noble mentality of the South. So she definitely comes with those thoughts that like you want to disagree with. Like, yeah, okay, lady, calm down. And then it's just like, please send me back to any of the other characters. Send me back to Lincoln. Send me back to Anderson. I don't want to be listening to this woman no more. But again, in a way, that's a good thing on Larson's part. You do want to get those other viewpoints in. You don't want to just get one view. If you get one view, then you're running the risk of being biased. Now, my other view. I would say there is, I don't want to say a hint of bias, but like you can kind of feel it as you read, which I can forgive. But then of course I brought up the point earlier in the review. He does compare the attack on Fort Sumter to the January 6th riot, protest riot, whatever you want to call it. I would. That's a tough comparison to make because it's weird. You gotta think hard about it. If you wanted this, I don't know how much I want to go into detail about this, but I have my own thoughts, and I do have a plan for. By the way, as this is going out, Friday tomorrow for you, or tomorrow for me, Friday, or whenever you actually watch this. This came out on a Friday. I am interviewing another one of my professors, and she is a Civil War buff, to say the least, which is cool. I'm a World War II buff, so. But she's a big Civil War historian, so I am going to bring that point up in there. Is it a comparable events? Yes, they were both negative for the country in a sense, but I don't know. Maybe leave your thoughts below in the comment section. Anyways, do I think you should read this in the end? Let's talk about that and let's wrap up. So, do I think you should read this book? Yes, on 3 points. Hope that's 4 fingers. If you want to get into the Civil War, this is a good starting point. Just like if I were to tell you where to start with World War II, if you want to do timeline wise, Pearl Harbor, or not even Pearl Harbor, maybe well, that would be a good start if you want to get the U.S. perspective of the war. But naturally, the start of the war, debatable. I would say during the Japanese invasion of China might be the start of the war. I know a lot of people like to say Germany's invasion of Poland, but that, or we can even go further and say the Italian invasion of Ethiopia, or today it's called Ethiopia. I forget what it's called back then. But yes, if you want to get into the Civil War, this is a really good book to start. I wouldn't say this is my starting book. I did read a book about African American recruits from Ohio, which is my state. And I thought that was an interesting book to read. But this is a good starting point. If you like Erik Larson's books, if you like the history narrative, this is also a good book to get into. I like a good narrative every now and again. One of my favorite authors is Hampton Sides, if you ever heard of him. He's a lot like, or at least from the work I read of his, he's a lot like that narrative, not so much hitting you with historical details and facts to the point that it's causing your head to hurt. And then third, this is just a good historical point to check out if you're interested in the history. We kind of have a brief, I feel like I always had a brief understanding of the lead up to the Civil War, and this is definitely a good educator for me. I definitely felt like I came out of this thinking, oh, that's how it started. Okay, now that makes a lot more sense. And man, I found myself like fantasizing. Like, you ever see that Conan O'Brien skit where he's with Civil War reenactors and they're all lined up getting ready to shoot blanks at each other, and he just pulls out a M16. Man, if I could fantasize giving the Union soldiers all the cool high-tech stuff of today. I know, I guess I'm biased in this video. Oh well. Go Union. Anyways, let's go ahead and wrap this up. So, hopefully you enjoyed the review. If you did, please leave a like and comment down below. And if you want to subscribe, I recommend doing so. Also, if you want to follow me on Twitter, I recommend doing so, because I will tell you what's going on, what I'm releasing, if I'm going to post a book review or not. Sometimes I'm a slow reader, so it does take me a few minutes to get through a book. So if it takes me a week or two to get through a book, that means I probably won't be doing a book review, and I'm not going to lie and say I read it. So that's a good point to follow me on there. You can also see when I'm doing podcasts, episodes. Also, if you want to check out my novel, I did write a novel. It's called Black Monday. It's on Amazon, Kindle. If you have Kindle Unlimited, you can read it for free. But I will talk to you guys Sunday when I do my overview of what I've learned this week. And I'll talk to you guys even further on Monday when the podcast episode 2 goes up. Thank you for watching. Hope you stay safe. Go read a book, so I'm not the only one reading in these videos. And I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.